Good morning from the Masai Mara in Kenya. We've decided to give Taylor and Tristan a little bit of a chance to try find some lions before we do. So we're going to do a bit of birding this morning. My name is Brent Smith. I have Dangerous Dave on camera. And that is a pair of secretary birds. At the moment, one started to walk, but they are just sort of warming up, waiting for their favorite food to get moving, which is of course snakes and lizards and other reptiles that live in this lovely long luscious grass. And they will eat all sorts of things, small rodents and insects as well. But they've no, it's decided, it's after something. No, it's decided that it's over this area and going to move on a little bit to better hunting grounds. The other is still very much relaxing close by to us. Isn't that beautiful? The secretary bird. Oh, no, I think we're going to get takeoff coming up shortly and get the runway cleared, get our signals out. Is it a green for go? Is it a red for stop? They are exquisite creatures. I love the hairdo. Let's see. Looks like a bit of a bad hair day for that secretary bird. Just out of bed look, you know, the bed head. But let's see, they don't always have to sort of hunt together, but they're normally within a reasonably close distance of each other. Now, there are a lot of secretary birds in the Masai Mara, and their home ranges are much, much smaller than you would get in Kruger, just due to the fact that there's a lot more food here. Now, they use those wonderful long legs of theirs to pretty much stomp their prey into submission before engulfing it. Well, the secretary birds have got quite the audience, and being nervy is probably a good thing out here. It's just to the left of them, they're Grant's gazelles that are watching them very carefully. There we go, Grant's gazelles and Topi. The Topi, not so interested in the secretary bird, but the Grant's gazelles, probably because they're a bit shorter, just waiting to see what they are. And, oh, hello, I just saw, where'd the other one go? The second lone tree in the distance there, Dave, right on top is a martial eagle. There we go, another one for the Mara bird list. Now, interesting thing is I was chatting to some of the guys here, and the martial eagles, one of their favorite things to hunt here is herons, black-headed herons, and there are a lot of them out in these grasslands. So they basically attack them from the air. And there's a sound we all know well that's going past, a crowned plover. So there we go, the crowned plover has landed right in front of us. Now Fuzzman Sparkles was wondering if we were going to hopefully see some herons and storks today. I'll keep my eye out, but I'm away from the wetlands at the moment. I'm out in the grasslands, and there we go. It always reminds me of James Henry. There it goes. Our plan is to head towards that escarpment in the distance there, Dad. The escarpment. There we go. So there we go. We're going to plan to head towards that escarpment and move back north along the escarpment, seeing what we can find. Now, Wendy's wondering whether Jamie has arrived in the Mara safely. She hasn't even left South Africa yet. They're flying today to Nairobi. They'll be spending the night in Nairobi, and then her, Kirsten, and Alan will be driving down tomorrow. So they should, in theory, be leaving around 9:30, 10 tomorrow. So what's that? Should be arriving around 3:30. Oh, has it got something? There we go. Look at that kicking. Oh no, it's scratching. Oh, it's an ear scratch. I got excited. I thought they might have found something in the grass to kick to death. Nice big Grant's gazelle watching it there. Yup, who's 4 years old in in Oregon says this looks like a strange seagull. Well, it's not. It's quite a lot bigger than a seagull, and it's got a very hooked beak. So it is a raptor, a predatory bird, and it'll use those long legs to kick and that sharp beak to rip apart any little thing it feels like eating or manages to find to eat. Now, when you're out on these big open grasslands like this, it's very important to just always have a quick check around, because if there's a lion or a cheetah and they're lying flat, just that little pop-up of the head could be the difference between driving past them and having a wonderful big cat sighting. So we haven't spent much time in this area before, and I'm hoping we're going to get some luck on the big cat front in this area, or especially up against the escarpment. Now, as I said, we'll try give Djuma a chance, well, Taylor and Tristan a chance to find some lions before I do, but my money's on Dangerous Dave and I. Let's go see how Taylor's lion search is going. Welcome back to Kenya. We're with a very observant topi. Now, they're often called the policemen of the Masai Mara because they're always standing on a bit of higher ground, making sure nothing can sneak up upon them. Now, we've covered quite a bit of distance, and we're in an area that Dave and I have not explored before. Excitement. Remember, #SafariLive if you've got any questions. Now, I've been really wanting to come to this area for quite some time. Topi, what are you looking at? No, I thought he might be looking at something for a second. Now, this is an area we possibly got a good chance at leopard as we move further along. But if Dave comes and shows you the road, we're on a road that probably hasn't been driven in about 7 or 8 months. So there we go. There's the road in front of us. Can't you see it? We've got to do a bit of careful looking to spot it, but we're going to head right up to the base of the Ololo escarpment and then slowly make our way north from there. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I haven't been along this section of the escarpment yet, so I'm very, very excited to explore there. Topi keeps looking down towards the main road, but I don't see anything. Now, they've got fantastic eyesight, so they can see stuff at quite a distance. Patricia is wondering how much of the Mara Triangle will we traverse on? Patricia, the whole Mara Triangle. All of it. Where we can take a car, we can traverse. We can't traverse the cliff faces. That's a bit difficult, even for my driving skills. But pretty much the whole of the Masai Mara National Reserve, both the triangle and the other side of the river, about 170,000 odd hectares that we can traverse. So 3 Sabi sands, and I'm not just talking about Djuma, I mean the whole Sabi sands. We've got traverse over that. Now, of course, as wonderful as it is, it also brings in some different challenges. We do tend at the moment, especially at the moment, because we are exploring and trying to figure everything out, we can cover sometimes over 200 kilometers in a day. And especially when we go to the other side of there. But it is very exciting to be able to explore and have this vast expanse as our playground. Now, the one sort of not so nice thing about this part of the world is there are a few tsetse flies in this area of the Mara. Dave somehow hasn't been bitten yet. I've been bitten once this morning and twice yesterday. So it seems like the tsetse flies like me more than Dave. So I think I'm just going to have to catch a whole bunch of them and let them go in his room, so he can experience the needle-sharp pain of a tsetse fly injecting its proboscis into his skin. Now, there's a few prides of lions in this area as well that we haven't seen just yet. One of them is quite skittish and not used to vehicles, and people don't come down this part of the reserve too often, and I think that's what really excites me. And I think as we get closer to the escarpment as well, we should get some lovely birds. So we're going to keep looking. And Dave, should we look for lions properly now?
Yes.
I think we've given Taylor and Tristan enough time. I think it's time to look for some lions seriously now. And just while we go back to Djuma with Tristan, it's big and grey, but it's not a lion. But well done to Taylor for finding the lions first. Now, we've decided to do a bit of birding, and this is definitely a new bird species for everyone out there. So get those pens ready and get ready to make a nice big tick for Jackson's widow bird. Aren't they beautiful? And you can see the males are the big black dark ones. The female, ooh. Okay, did you see that one that just landed? I wasn't sure what it was.
The brown one.
No, with the red head.
Not this guy, yeah?
No. Go out again. Come out. And, okay, zoom. Zoom. Behind those ones, lift. A little bit there. A little bit to the left. What have we there? That's a funny looking bird. Isn't that pretty? I'm pretty sure I know what it is, but I'm going to have to double check quickly. But the Jackson's widow birds, and now I think we have a new species for everyone as well. I'm just going to confirm. I'm pretty sure. And I said my East African birds are a little bit rusty. I haven't birded up here since about 2010, so I think I'm pretty sure what it is. And it is exactly what I thought it was. Now, everyone, that is a red-headed quelea. That is a very nice bird species. That is not one you see too often. So they don't occur in as big of flocks as their red-billed cousins, but that is a red-headed quelea. Mary says, all the birds are so beautiful. Indeed they are, Mary. That's a very cool one. I'm quite excited. That's the first time I've seen this one on this trip. The red-headed quelea. Okay, so, well, let's get back to the Jackson's widow birds, because Daniel and YouTuber say, aren't their tails amazing? They are. So the males only grow that for the breeding season, and once they've finished impressing the ladies, they lose that tail and their coloration, and they become quite dull and dab brown. So it is fascinating that those tails, because they could make you a little bit easier to catch from a predatory bird point of view, but those tails are there to just impress the girls. I'm just having a quick look with my binos up on the hillside, see if I can spot anything. Now, I have seen boho reedbuck in this area before. It doesn't look like anyone's out today. What have we got there? I can hear some other birds. I can hear a pectoral patch testicular, but I can't see them just yet. But you see, this is a lovely green area here. That is obviously where the streams come down from the mountain, and it attracts quite a lot of birds. You can see that nice thick rank grass that widow birds like so much. And there we go, you can see that green grass. Okay, well, we're going to keep moving, leave the Jackson's widow birds to keep sunning themselves, and while we do that, Taylor's with a pachyderm. Well, it's time for our daily dose of cuteness. Look at this little chap! Oh, sweetness! Now, the whole herd is on their way down to the swamp at the moment, but this little guy is just too much. He's just looks like he's in the best mood this morning. Oh, big bump to negotiate next. Off, let's go. Engage the low range. Four-wheel drive. Oh, up, and away he goes. Oh, sweet. Isn't that wonderful? Now, I think they're all heading down towards the Samaki swamp, which is in the distance here. And you can see there's already some elephants that have got down to it. And it's lovely and green and lush, and it's going to be a hot day today. And a lot of the elephants will do that. They'll spend their evenings in the forests on the edge of the Ololo escarpment, and then as the day warms up, they move further to the east, down towards the river, and in particular towards that big swamp area. They'll feed while they're going, and of course when the wildebeest arrive, they tend to spend a lot more time in the forests and around the escarpment to avoid those noisy gnu's. Oh, look at them. Now, there are a lot of elephants in this part of Africa, so we're quite lucky. And they are quite easy to spot, aren't you? It's nice open grasslands. You can see the ellies from quite a distance away. You can hear them breathing, grabbing grass. Dave would like to know, is there a difference in size between the elephants at Djuma and the elephants in the Mara? Probably not a marked difference, but I would say on average a little bit smaller. And why, I'm not 100% sure, because they've got better food. But the Kruger, or Great Kruger ellies, are some of the biggest elephants in Africa in terms of body size and height. But I wouldn't say there's too much of a difference. Probably on average just slightly smaller. There we go, lots and lots of nice Thamida grass for you. Miss Zero says the landscape is so different in the Mara. Indeed it is. And it's a very unique landscape that has been formed here. And it's one of the reasons we've got such fantastic wildlife in this area. And this volcanic ash has layered this area, and then the decrease of grass species have colonized it, creating one of the most nutrient-rich ecosystems in Africa in terms of large herbivores. And that's why it's able to sustain the amount of animals it does, as well as one of the greatest migrations in the world. Now, I heard a rumor that some lions had caught buffalo, and unfortunately it's quite far from here. So we will definitely be making our way down there on the sunset safari. But we had a good morning exploring some unknown areas, and it was always great to catch up with a red-headed quillia. It's not a bird you see every day. I'm still trying to find you guys a pectoral patch testicular. They are very common, but they're very small and very flighty. I can hear them calling. Dip, 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 dip. Now, we're going to leave you from this really big, wide open space and go across to a space that's not quite as wide. The quarantine clearings with Taylor.